Hello and welcome to another Writer's Showcase, everybody. I am your host, Lord Captain Commander Dunn, and we're going to be bringing on a couple of guests, starting off with...
I am sorry. I couldn't resist.
That's appropriate. Welcome, Yuri. Always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Hey. Welcome to you as well, sir. Thank you for coming to my live stream. I don't know where that
I was under the impression that possession was 9/10 of the law, and currently I am in possession of it.
Not when I'm talking.
Fair, I suppose. Alrighty, let's bring on Count Valerian.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're staging a coup here.
Yeah. No.
Oh, you're supposed to do the bring it on thing.
No, it's a coup like you do with babies, like when you coup a baby, not like COUPE.
You're talking about this bit, right?
Sounds like a gas baby. Bring it on.
Yeah, either that one or the llama. I like the llama.
That leads me to believe we should watch Emperor's New Groove sometime.
That is a good movie. That's a good movie.
Well, we should. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get priceless gems like...
What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead!
Yeah, weird.
That one. Well, yeah, that one too. Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, it applies so well to a lot of things in Hollywood, unfortunately. He's supposed to be dead.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, what was it? Kenobi, everything with Star Wars. It's just, what? He's supposed to be dead.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I won't argue with that one.
Or with Game of Thrones Season 8.
Basically anything to do with D&D, yes.
Yeah. Which, thankfully, they've stayed the fetch off our screens for several years. And hopefully it stays that way.
Glory, glory.
Hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Alrighty, so Valerian's eating lunch, and Yuri's feeling a little bit tired. So, do you guys want me to go first, or Yuri, do you want to go first? And then
you go first, brother.
Oh, okay. Unusual. Okay, we'll just
unusual indeed.
Okay, we will shift up then. One moment. Allow me to set the stage. So, speaking of coups, where's the echo coming from? Oh, okay, it's gone now, thankfully. Okay. Alrighty. So, in terms of what has happened in the story, speaking of coups, the eldest daughter of the queen has decided to forego the election stuff and say, no, I'm going to be queen. I'm going to kill my brother.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Did we say hello to Reed Mason yet? If not, then hello.
Aloha.
Hi, Reed Mason.
How you be doing today on this fine morning?
He had some interesting information to share about the Borman script.
Yeah, he had a lot of commentary on that one that was rather amusing, to say the
Yes.
least. Since that whole thing is an amazing train wreck.
The Borman script?
Have you ever heard of John Borman's Lord of the Rings script?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you missed out.
Yeah, what happened was the that script was written in the 1970s by an incompetent filmmaker by the name of John Borman, whose only success in life at the life was Excalibur, and that is his only good movie by all accounts, and it was probably luck. Since apparently what happened was he wrote a script and it was so bad that Ralph Bakshi said, okay, we'll just buy the rights to this and then no one will ever speak of this again. That's how bad that script was. And yeah, I understand why they decided, no, nobody is ever going to ever read the script.
Narrow-minded Philistines crushing down great art.
He's also famous for Point Blank and Deliverance. I've heard of Deliverance, but I haven't really heard good things about it.
It sounds gross to me. It sounds just like demonic, pretty much, right?
Demonic? No. It's just that it's ridiculous. And
It's a bunch of evil rednecks raping people in the woods, isn't it? Like, that's what's more demonic than that?
It's not demonic, it's depraved. There's a difference. There's no such thing really as demonic. Like, in that sense. It's just dumb. And slightly gross. Dumb, depraved, and slightly gross.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to argue with you, but I also kind of don't care enough to.
Fair enough.
Basically, it's bad.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a weird relationship with the concept of sex and stuff like that, and he's clearly just absolutely nuts and doesn't know what quality is.
You know how Aragorn has the hands of the healer in the books?
He has apparently in the Borman script the penis of the king is the hand of a healer.
I wasn't going to say explicitly, but something along those lines.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, he's nuts, and he's a crazy man, and it's not ever something that anybody should read.
Also, Sauron is a cross between Punch and Mick Jagger. Let me see if I can find that particular avatar. There.
Yeah, it's he's definitely quite the filmmaker in a lot of ways, but yeah, it's bad. It's really bad stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a bad script. Galadriel is a sex nymph, and has sex with Frodo.
All right. Enough desecration. Let's hear your story that does pretty much the same thing.
Mary eats lamb. Oh, when they eat lambas, they taste whatever their favorite tastes like their favorite food. And at one point, Mary is eating lambas, and he says, "Galadriel."
It's not even their favorite food. It tastes like whatever they can think of.
All right. Enough blasphemy.
Stop,
All right.
says Trip. WTF, she adds. Why did I have to walk into this conversation? Hello there, by the way. Okay.
Oreo.
What does she mean by Oreo? What's Oreo have to do with that?
It's her safe word.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that going to dispel all the evil from the world?
It's I imagine that it's when something she doesn't like happens, she will yell Oreo at whoever is talking to get them to stop.
Oreo.
Useful to know.
Who does this?
Trip.
Oh, okay. I missed something. Trip.
No, it's something that just barely started.
Trip. Oreo.
Alrighty.
Oh, yeah. My brain just took that to the wrong direction. It's what she's actually talking about. What she's hoping and wishing for. But never mind. Let's start our show.
All right. So,
Don't do that.
So as of right now, the prince and his wife and their kids have departed, and they're running to flee somewhere. They don't know where, but they want to get away from his crazy sister,
Is
who
that
seized
Bale?
the capital. Bale.
Sorry, is that
Yes.
Bale?
Yep, that is Bale.
Okay, good.
Yep, he's the good kid out of the three. There's a good, bad, and a neutral, I guess you could say. In this situation where the engineer is the neutral one, the soldier is the bad one, and the guy who I don't even know how to describe Bale's profession. He's mainly just a trying his best as to be a good guy despite the terrible situation that he's in. So, Chapter 10, Preparations for Escape. Bale and the other Dragonlord riders landed in Megaros, the capital city of Ulbar, in the afternoon of the next day. Rolling his shoulders, Bale slid off of Melee, off Melee's back, and then helped Amelisa down from the Silver Dragon's saddle. How many ships can we use to flee west? He asked. There are about 60 ships down at the docks, 5 of them Dragon Carrier class, Amelisa explained. Good. We'll have to move quickly if we're to escape. Bale rubbed his eyes. Let's start getting prepped for this whole thing. He trailed off and leaned against Melee's side. So tired, he thought as his vision fuzzed. As concerned, the large silver dragon reached backward with her neck and nuzzled his face. You need to rest. Amelisa took his arm. We all need some rest after what we've been through. I'll tell the stewards to get the fleet ready while we rest. Yeah, Bale admitted as everyone quickly dismounted and went toward the castle. Sounds like a good plan. Arissa rubbed her blind eye as she walked through the gate of Menandrakar. She'd made sure to leave Sisyphan a significant distance from the city, since Meraxi would still remember him from the battle in Sitharis. Arissa was sure that nobody would remember her, especially with the illusion over her face. Ever since the Battle of the Seven Suns, as they'd so romantically called the massacre of thousands of soldiers, Elven and Sitharans alike, with dragon fire, her eye had never healed after Sisyphan had been partially blinded by Hera while Arissa was still in his mind. Cloak flowing around her, Arissa made her way to the castle. Her visions had instructed her to visit Chimera and enable her to find her brother. Her visions had told her to kill Hera and Narcissus, but the prince's sacrifice had allowed some immensely powerful spell to be cast. She would find a way to murder Erini, since her visions had told her that the line of Hera and Narcissus would cause the death of the elves. That would have to wait, though. If she could seriously weaken the Dragonlords, then he could capitalize on this new fracturing. I have come to speak with the Dragonlord. She bowed to the two orcs at the gates, concealing her disgust. Savage brutes. My ancestors should have killed them all. Now they fuel the armies of the usurpers. What is your business? The orc captain on duty bared his fangs at her and lowered his spear. I know where the Dragonlord can intercept her brother. Carissa smiled, though under her illusion only half her face moved. Please, allow me to see her. I can provide substantiation for my claims. The two orcs exchanged looks, then quickly sent off a messenger. Keeping her expression as neutral as possible, Arissa pushed her mind into that of a nearby rat and had it follow the messenger through the cracks in the castle walls, letting herself feel a bit of pleasure at having a full range of vision. Most of her time she spent her days in Sisyphan's mind, even though her old friend was blind in the same eye she was, since he was the only one who could understand what she was going through. There's a woman at the gate who claims to have information regarding the location of your brother, Dragonlord. The messenger blurted as she went into the room with the obsidian throne. That should be my throne, Arissa thought. I am Alisani's descendant. I am the purest royal blood. Megara's children should be serving me. Carefully, she kept herself from displaying emotion on her face, instead fixing a pleasant smile on her lips. The messenger kept on talking to Chimera. She says that she has corroborating evidence, but we thought we should give you the chance to reject her. If she has information on where your brother leaving already, then she knows where she is. A man's emotionless voice. Lord Shard of Althea. Interesting. Fine. Let her in. Chimera's voice was impatient. Arissa's smile became smug, but the left side of her face remained completely still. She dies peacefully in her bed while I live in a world half full of darkness. I never got to rip out Hera's eyes and feed them to her after killing her children for what she did to Ares and me. Absently, she slid her hand into her sleeve and clenched it so hard that her palm hurt. Slowly, resentfully, she pulled herself out of the rat's body and back into her own. The orcs were looking at her with those yellow eyes of theirs as if she were a piece of meat. Narrowing her eye, Arissa met their gaze and folded her arms behind her back. One day I will eradicate these monsters, as should have been done centuries ago. After exchanging glares, Shard finally arrived. There's with the orcs. Shard finally arrived in the courtyard of the Dragonhold, dark fate on his hip. So this is the blade of the evening, Arissa thought as he walked up to her, his angular face showing little to no emotion. Arissa had been around enough masters of the blade to know exactly what this man was. He wasn't really a man. That was too simplistic a term for this creature. He was a sword, a well-honed and deadly weapon. The Dragonlord will see you now, he said calmly. I feel obligated to warn you, though. If you are an assassin, you will die before you get more than an inch. Normally, she would deem that as an arrogant boast, but the cold expression in his eyes and the casual grace of his movements told her that he was making a promise, not a threat. Smiling benignly, she curtsied. What harm could I do? She asked. I am a simple informant, looking to sell my wares. Where they will do the most good. And Shard tilted it. At that, Shard tilted his head. And pay the best, I imagine. Ah, a cynical man. Smart. Of course, Erisa bowed. Keep your expression as friendly as possible. Who could give me what I want better than the most powerful woman in the known world? Your sources must be extremely well placed, or your residence is close. Shard folded his arms and motioned toward the guards. Keep an eye on her. If she makes a move, restrain her. I submit myself to whatever stipulations you impose on me, but I assure you it will not be necessary. Erisa straightened with her hand to her chest. As you say, but we prefer not to take chances. Shards turned and started walking to the castle. Dragonlord Chimera was very different than her mother. For one thing, Hera's face had been more rounded, whereas Chimera's was very angular. They both had violet eyes, but Chimera was missing her right one. Seems fitting that Hera's daughter lost her eye just as I did, Erisa thought as she bowed before the one who should have been her servant. It's just unfortunate I didn't have a hand in that. She was also significantly taller than her mother, who had been remarkably short, even for a regular person. So, you have information regarding my brother's location? Chimera leaned forward, dark fire resting against the front of her chair, black blade seeming to eat light rather than reflect it. Erisa restrained her immediate urge to freeze or run at the sight of the weapon that had burned out her dragon's eye and paralyzed her face. Clenching her fist, she forced a smile onto her face and curtsied respectfully. I do, and I know where they will take refuge. I do hope that my visions remain true. Where? Chimera slowly wrapped her hand around the hilt of the black sword. They intend to flee west from Ulbar. Erisa relayed her vision as she had seen it. They want to flee west, to find the island the Arathane discovered and take refuge there. If you take your own fleet and the dragons you have at your disposal, and hit them in the pincer movement, you will be able to catch your brother. Why are you giving me this information? Chimera asked suspiciously. What do you want from me? Ah, so they're both suspicious, but Shard is far more secure in himself than his mistress. Or perhaps he's the real power behind the throne. Erisa filed that away for later. Fracturing the kingdom at this time was the best option. A small reward according to your graciousness. Erisa spread her hands. Merely the gift of attractive land in the north. I seek to establish myself near the woods that have belonged to my ancestors. That's it? Chimera asked, raising her eyebrows in confusion. It means little to you, but it is important to me, Erisa said mildly. Her visions instructed her to ask for the land along a specific area, for what purpose she did not know, but she had to obtain it first. You must verify my information before my reward is given. Even, she offered, so that you may know that I am an honest woman. Chimera turned her gaze toward Shard. The dark-haired man seemed to be considering the proposal seriously, resting his hands on the pommel of his sword. So we go on a wild goose chase on only your word, he said finally. He's very good at concealing his emotions and conveying something very different than what he's thinking. Irissa immediately focused her attention on Shard. Something was wrong about him. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but there was something about him that disturbed her, a sense of inhumanity. Keep me hostage until you can find out whether what I have said is true, Irissa offered. This land means a great deal to me. Whatever assurances you require from me, you have but to impose it. Chimera tilted her head and examined Irissa for a moment. Fine. Shard, you, Camria, and a few others will stay here while I verify the information. As you command. Shard bowed his head, then nodded to the guards. Keep this woman under guard until it is made very clear that she is telling the truth. You will find that I am telling nothing but the truth, my friends, Irissa thought. But because of me, you will be weakened enough for me to slaughter you all. And that's the end.
Well, I enjoyed it. You go ahead, Valerian. I will gather my thoughts.
Yep, I enjoyed it too. I will note that everyone sounds dodgy, and everyone in your novel sounds dodgy. I wouldn't trust any of them. I wouldn't trust Irissa, but I wouldn't trust any of the others either. Is Irissa the name?
Irissa, yeah, it's a Greek mythology reference.
Eris, the goddess of discord, right?
Yep.
Correct. Which I guess Discord really needs one because it's a mess.
Kind of.
Yeah. Her daughter is another Greek reference. Her daughter's name is Porphyria. Reference to the king of the giants who fought against the gods of Olympus.
Okay, yeah. Porphyry, I think, is also a gem, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, interesting.
I think so. I think it's a gem. Might be real. Then the word might be related to purple or not. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's also interesting. She has warging powers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's been set up as having warging powers since the first time she showed up in Battle of the Seven Suns.
Okay. Was she that lady that was randomly appearing to people? Was that her?
The lady that's randomly appearing?
Yeah, there was someone who was
No.
appearing like in visions or something to
You
people.
mean the Pale Maiden who just showed up during the battle to give Hera powers at the end?
And
No.
she gave her advice and stuff.
That is somebody different. That is somebody you will meet in this book, but that is not Eris. That it could be said that is Eris's enemy.
Okay.
It'll kind of be a little bit further ahead, but she's not from this time period.
Carry on.
Yeah, just the the lady that has been appearing in visions, that's not somebody from this time period. She's actually far in the future. It's kind of my way of kind of using the idea of time traveling Bran and actually doing something interesting with it.
Okay. Also, I'm on Arissa's side, except for the little bit about genociding the orcs, which I guess is kind of bad form. But for the rest of it, I'm on her side.
Wait,
Sure.
what happens if you don't genocide orcs? They just keep orking, and that's no good. So, what are you on about? Or are the orcs okay in this version? Is this like
The orcs are fine.
Warcraft 3 orcs?
They're basically just the Iron Fist of the Empire. The orcs were this guy saved their kingdom a lot. Saved a lot of their people and killed a demon that was living in their living in the caves that they were in, as well as killed a Hydra. And so they basically owe him a blood debt. And
They're like the Ogier gardeners, is what I'm thinking.
Kind of. It's more that, well, the Ogier gardeners in Wheel of Time serve because they would serve in the Death Watch Guard because they want to. However, the orcs in this, they fight because they like to fight, and the Dragonlords have granted them the ability to be able to fight in a constructive way, as well as gave them large swaths of land and allowed them to colonize large sections of unpopulated areas.
All right.
So,
sorry.
Mhm.
No, Valerian, I guess, are you ready to go? I'm sorry, I'm getting sleepy. I've got this weird thing, new med kind of thing, so I'm like, weird.
I do think that it is very interesting that you're technically on Arissa's side, which is funny.
Yeah, probably. I do a lot of surprising things. I have my politics is hard to predict.
No, I was talking about Valerian.
Well, yeah, Well, you know already that I'm against the Dragonlords.
Yeah. Since it is interesting, since they are ostensibly the main characters.
Yes. I liked Narcissus when he was being a prep, but then he turned good, so I didn't like him as much.
Well, he grew up and then he sacrificed himself to save his unborn child.
Oh, that's so lame. Don't mind me.
You're a fascinating creature, Valerian.
I know. My immortal would be my immortal. Oh God, yes, that sounded very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I am mortally interested in reading that. And the nice thing is, since it's fan fiction, it's public domain, and nobody can strike us for reading it.
Oh, are you going to do that? Is that going to be the next Borman script?
It might be, yeah.
Oh, okay. Although it sounded a little pervy, but then there was some weird stuff going on with Arwen in the Borman script too. So
yeah, that part was weird.
Yes.
Really, really freaking weird and nasty and not really at all good or of quality.
It's what the Italians say, non secondo Matteo, not according to St. Matthew. That pretty much applies to the entire Borman script.
Yeah, I was going to say just mentally deficient.
Well, yeah, maybe that too.
Alrighty. So Yuri, are you going up next? Or
Yeah, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
you can go.
All right, it's so this is the God's Light Gospel from the beginning. I need to work on a forward, but I'll do that eventually. The first chapter is simply called Zadkiel Decrees. Forgiveness falls from the Lord on high. Yours is the almighty judgment. The Gospel of Yuri. I worry strongly that it is a schizophrenic mess. And no more than that, no matter the evidence. Did I read this part last time? Or I read... Sorry.
Go for it. It doesn't.
All right. It doesn't sound familiar. Okay. No matter the evidence gathered to contrary, but pushing through, it is real and vulnerable enough to matter. And if the saints really talk to me, then what of it? I don't honestly know what this is. And by is, I mean this paragraph, but by extension, all of it. All of the paragraphs or anything else. I do not know what they are, what anything is but some compulsive spirit seeking birth. Within all of this is some uniting thread that I can see, though not really quite discern. I am needing help to find it. But if it does help you to have a scene in your head, imagine a quorum of angels, a cascade of colors and plumage serenely floating in the space to fill the pillars that scatter Orion's belt. Every time you get confused, look up to a parapet and see an angel the size of a galaxy speak the words, I do not understand. Lord help me, but I do not understand. That's the thing. I can't say how much, but there is a reality to this. There is a sort of feeling I get when about to write that I can take as imagination, or I can take as a presentation of what is happening spiritually. And reading from the Old Testament, I wonder where it came to form and how. Ezekiel 20 displays all of this. If I were to say I am talking to angels, that would sound crazy and imply that they are telling me to do stuff or something. Or else it might make you think I am dealing with demons. The real theme of this book, when it comes down to it, is just that quandary. Either way, this is not a work that I think will be taken seriously, but it is one which I feel, to the core of my being, lest it die from disuse, must be studied like gospel. Am I crazy or evil? No, I can definitively say no. Am I mistaken? Constantly. And what is a gospel? Good words, particularly about the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the King, the Redeemer, the Son of God, known only as I am, he who overturned, he who vanquished all fear. Okay, so I think I'll stop there, just because I'm not feeling it. I'm kind of tired. It's a rather short piece of it, but any thoughts on that little snippet?
No, it's interesting to just see a lot of the religious symbolism and imagery in it, and it's put very eloquently, I have to say. There's not really a narrative theme or through line. It's just a how do I put it? It's just kind of a soliloquy in a lot of ways.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Remind me who the narrator is, because I guess it's not Monkey.
No, yeah, no. The narrator's me.
Okay.
So this is like as autobiographical as I'll ever get, probably. I don't know. It's shoot. I was gonna ask something or say something, and I don't remember what, which is fine. Go ahead. You were saying something, I think, Valeria.
No, I was just asking.
Yeah.
I was asking who the narrator was. It's very short, so it's hard to make a judgment based on just like, what was it, 5 minutes?
All right. If you'll allow, I'll go a bit longer. If it's not It's not too untoward. Done.
Oh no.
I don't mind. That's fine.
All right. Am I crazy or evil? Oh, I already did that part. All fear, the son of the God, known only as I am. But what does it even mean? What is such good news about Jesus? That he breaks the trap we're in? Somewhere in all these stories we have as scriptures, the truth. That people experienced profound things and wrote them down and kept them supremely sacred. Reality was not different then than now, but life truly was. From what you ate to where it came from, and the Bible is truly full of the food of life. Why? Because so many say it is so? Partly, knowing that the multitudes have held to a way since time immemorial, that is reason. But more because it is just itself so. And how to know? Praying. The good news is that prayer works, but mostly if you don't ask for things, just recognize what God is doing in you. And what is God doing in you? Working. Creating scenarios that teach you that ready you for the life in a proper society. And all of this thanks to Jesus. And it is good news. It is the gospel. I think he did all that stuff. I'll bet pretty much anything on it. Just about anything but money. Because if Jesus is real, then money doesn't matter. But if the fact is that I am deluding myself, then money is all that matters. If the fact is that there is no unmovable mover, while it is the absolute fact that we're all moved, if the fact is that life just develops somehow, I don't know, lightning maybe, or these vents way down in the ocean. If the matter of fact, if the not just mere widowhood of humanity, but the absolute absence of any husband to have ever been, then that is sobering enough. Just the thought of how we as a species were gaslit for millennia by someone who was never there to begin with would be tragic, especially when walking through the house and seeing how it's decorated. We'd be so embarrassed as a species in our sentience and essence. I do not know what we would do. But we learned some facts about matter. Matter, in fact, is energy, but they can't tell us what thought comes from. They can break down all the maps and models, but neither mapper nor modeler can be broken down without killing him. Every reference falls in on itself, while the whole body buzzes with spirit, which really spirit is another word for process. The thing that you are as a process. The soul is what observes what is happening, and it grows bodies constantly. You've just got it backwards. Eventually, you will explain to me how. The spirit of this book is not in its words. And sure, if you take it seriously, the adversary will notice. But you will now notice him notice, and notice that noticing being noticed by a being, that's your soul, which is you, like the fruit of a tree. Yeah, I think I'll call it there. All right. So basically, it's quite a few chapters of this, and then there's more like from other voices than mine. I retell the Garden of Eden myth a bit and stuff. But I guess we'll get there if this is what I'm going to be reading. So, any thoughts on that further bit?
Cool. Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's not really much to critique or not to critique. It's very much an expression of your experience and your wrestling with spiritual things. At least that's how it comes off to me.
Yeah, and the whole question of, meaning of, what's the meaning of life? What's the point of it all? Is there any meaning to it, or is it just, nothing but money and, whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was rather a satisfying listen then. I feel like I think because it's so close to me, like I feel more self-conscious reading it than I would other works, which I've also gotten self-conscious about. Yeah, so like I think I need to, like I talked with the publisher lady and she said something along the I said she was saying something. I was like, oh, make it more like Dante. And so I think that's something I got to do. I got to put more of my. Well, I mean, you guys haven't really heard all the angel stuff, but yeah,
Well,
go ahead. There needs to
Dante
be,
have a tall order. It's not going to be easy. That's not going to be an easy bar to
yeah,
meet.
it needs more of a clear journey, I think. But yeah, Dante has a tall order. Like the journey needs to be clearer. It needs more of a sense of that there is a journey. Because like I think you mentioned earlier, Doug. It was like, well, I don't know. I said about it that it's got no setting, character, or plot. Like, you know, kind of jokingly, but also it is kind of like that, and I've got to give it that setting, and I've got to give it the plot. Yeah.
Yeah, since if it doesn't necessarily have a plot or character to kind of latch onto, it's really just a even autobiography. You could do this as maybe a poetry collection book, but I imagine you probably have to put some art in there to make it a little bit more engaging and maybe give it some measure of a through line. Even books like have you heard of a book called The Christmas Candle?
The Christmas Candle?
Yes.
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, it's a picture book about a young man who's a little bit full of himself, a little bit selfish, and he he's in the mood for a candle on Christmas. Well, he needs a candle on Christmas to light his way, and as he walks through the streets, the candle illuminates the people around him as his family members, so that when they're in need, thinking they're his family members in need, so he gives all of his stuff away as he keeps going until finally he gets home, after passing by a young girl who he saw as his little sister, but he had to get home. But right as he gets in the door, he turns around to go out and help the little girl. Well, as part of his character arc.
Well, that's
It's a simple short form story, but it has a measure of a narrative through line to it.
right.
That sounds nice.
It is a very uplifting little story.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I cede my time to the Count.
And we should probably say hello to the Kodaki chap, too.
Hey, Codex. How's life?
How much money does Yuri have at his disposal for illustrations? He might be able to commission a comic book artist to do the job, says Reed Mason helpfully.
Oh, very, very, very little. But if I get this job, you know, fingers crossed I get this job. So it's not too Jesus-y. Like that's my worry really with the whole thing. Is too Jesus-y.
No, it's fine.
It'll probably sell better that way, honestly. Like Christians are a massive market.
I would say yes. I honestly think if you go to something like Deseret Book, you should be able to get a fair amount of listening to it.
Huh? Deseret Book, you said?
That would be
Deseret Book, Shadow Mountain.
Is that Deseret with an E in it? Is that because that would be a strictly Mormon publisher, I would think.
I'm Mormon. I get to publish with Mormons.
Not necessarily strictly LDS, but it's a very religious. What is it?
Outlet.
Yeah, religious outlet in a lot of ways.
You could try finding you could troll by trying. Sorry, right, Lord House. You were talking.
No, I was. No, I didn't say anything. Don't worry.
I was just saying you could send it to a hyper atheist publisher as a troll.
Okay, that
That'd be funny.
would be hilarious.
And it would be great if it converted them. That would be.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, that would be very, very funny.
Yeah. Okay. We're still on the Harry Potter kick.
Oh, this isn't just you talking retarded for an hour, is it?
Not for an hour. This one is based on the sixth Harry Potter book. The oh god, was it the Half-Blood Prince one? It was written before book 7 came out, so I didn't know how the series was going to end, and I never got around to doing book 7. Although I could probably crank something out reasonably quickly for book 7, but I don't have a. But because when book 7 came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, and then I kind of quit for the time being. Half-Blood cringe. I didn't, but maybe I should have. So, and as I said, this is before the 7th book came out. So I didn't know how it was going to end. And maybe I'll do the 7th book afterwards. Not today, though. So, chapter 6. Geraldina does more cool Hogwarts stuff and saves Malfoy from being bad and like rules, and people die, but they was lamers anyway. The Prime Minister was boring and got in some exposition, but we already knew it, so what was the point? Then Narcissa, who is Malfoy's mother and exemplifies Lacan's theories of jouissance and stuff, came to visit Snape and said, please protect Draco because Walmart has in for him because Lucius is a loser and he's taking it out on him. By the way, I love you. Bellatrix, who was Narcissus' sister and liked killing people and was totally goth and listened to Black Sabbath, come along and was a bit of a bitch. Why is Harry still alive? You are a lamer, said Bellatrix. Snape said, why bother killing Harry? He is a stupid bleep. Prove you're really bad, said Belle. Save Draco, said Nark. Snape swore to do evil stuff, so he is evil unless Joe is doing it to make us think he's evil and is really malevolent, which is cool. He also swore to help Draco. Dumbledore come to pick up Harry and Geraldina and told the Dirties they was jerks, but said it in geezer, so it sounded nicer than that. And he'd take them to the burrow where the Weasleys lived, but on the way they picked up Slughorn, who was fat and a bit racist and annoying, but not too bad. And all white guys is racist and potential rapists and other bad stuff anyway. Geraldina waited outside for a bit while Dumbledore and Harry said hi to Slug because she wanted to make a grand entrance. Come to teach at Hogwarts, said Dumbledore. No, I won't, because I'm scared of Death Eaters, said Slughorn. I got to go to the bathroom, said Dumb. I used to be really cool, and all the big guns belong to my club, said Slug. Yeah, but not anymore, because you're on the run, which is lame, said Harry. Then Derridina come in and said, I'm going to Hogwarts and I'm destined. Slughorn said, I'll come because Derridina is there and she is brilliant and rules. I know, said Derridina. Then Dom came back and looked and took them to the burrow. Or the bureau. I'm giving you special lessons because you're destined, he said. About time you did something to prepare us, dude, though I already know everything, said Derridina. Like whatever, said Dom. And then they come to the burrow, but had to go through security, and it was really annoying and boring, and they got it wanted, and the guards confiscated Dumbledore's porn because they said it was a national security threat. Then they got it there. No, then when they got it there, they met Fleur, who was French and was going to marry some big character in the Weasley household named Bob or something. Molly, that is Mrs. Weasley, and Ginny, and even Hermione was all bitchy at her because they was racist Brits and didn't like foreigners. And they didn't like how she did her eyes and stuff. Then Derridina said, stop being annoying racist bitches. And they said, okay. Their annual exams came and Derridina got it outstanding in everything. Well, duh. The others did okay, but Ron was kind of dumb. Then they wanted to see Fred and George at their capitalist joke shop. We rule, said Fred and George. No, I do, said Derridina. They had to admit she had a point. They saw Draco Malfoy and figured since he's a jerk, he's probably doing something bad, so they followed him. And he went into a store for bad people and threatened the owner if he didn't do what he wanted. He's doing bad stuff, said Harry. Yeah, but who cares, said Ron and Hermione. I'll check the books later, said Derridina. Then we can stop him, which is questioning the narrative from within the narrative. On the Hogwarts train, Slug invited all the cool people to a really boring party with gross stuff like caviar and said, I have lots of influence and am cool, so curry favor with me. Whatever, said everyone, but they put it more politely. I'm going to spy on Malfoy, said Harry. Nah, we'll just read the book, said Derridina. Actual book. And they read the bit where Harry finds out Malfoy was going to do something bad. Then the Count showed his book back. What an A-blank. At dinner, everyone learned Snape got the dark arts job, and they was bummed. Then Rob and Hermione had some boring lovers' quarrels, and Quidditch was boring too. Meanwhile, the Count knocked on Dumbledore's door. Oh no, not you again, said Dumbledore. Snape's gonna kill you, said the Count, and Draco's gonna let bad people into the school. I know. Stop nagging. I didn't fire the dumb divination teacher or even Saxena, but I'll fire you if you don't bug off, said Dumbledore, and he went back to gambling online. Okay, you're kind of a lamer anyway, dude, said the Count. They started classes and had to do stuff without words. And Derridina thought it was easy and boring, but the others made faces like they was on Poo, which is this thing Fred and George made that turned you constipated, which represents how society stifles creativity with conformism. And Slug teached potions, which was easy because Slug was a nice guy when he wasn't stuck up, and he gave Harry some Felix, which is makes you lucky because Harry did good potions because he had this book that belonged to the Half-Blood Prince, and he had lots of cool recipes and spells and stuff. The old hat to Darydina. Then Dum called Harry and Darydina and told them it was time for their first lesson. We're in the memory of this ministry guy who's like trying to punish a crazy Slytherin type for being a jerk, said Dum. The ministry guy looks like a lamer. The bathing suit is just so no, said Darydina. You notice lots of stuff because you're smart, said Harry. The wizard guy went into a house that totally like sucked, and the interior decorating was like crap. I rule. Pardon me. I rule because I'm purebred, said the guy who lived in the house. His name was Marvelous. He looked like crap, though, and I'm so not going with him to the prom. Then he bullied his daughter, Murphy. Your son is a jerk and is being mean to muggles, said the mystery guy. Screw you, we rule, so we can do what we want, said Marvelous. No, you can't, said the mystery guy. They arrested the Marvelous guy and his son, Morphin. He probably done drugs, and Murphy ran off with a muggle, Tom Riddle, and he left her, and she died. That's because I can't even read what this says. That's because Slytherins are jerks, said Harry. Yeah, said Darydina. Later it was the weekend, and kids get to go to Hogmeads, the wizard shopping mall. Darydina took an hour to figure out what to wear. Sartre said the anguish of choice nauseates you. It totally does. Then they went into Hogsmeade, but it was lame. Wizard shops suck now that Death Eaters are doing stuff, said Darydina. Totally like, said Harry. Then this girl got attacked by a necklace. This necklace is so like tacky. I wouldn't be caught dead in it, even if it wasn't cursed and stuff, said Darydina. And she took away its powers. You are smart and powerful and rule, said the others. Dumbledore's next lesson, take them to when Dum went to where Walmart lived as a kid. The past Dum went into the orphanage and asked the woman about Voldemort, but he was still Tom. He's a jerk. I don't like him. He does weird stuff to other kids and hangs rabbits from rafters and wears baseball caps backwards and listens to loud heavy metal and crap. But she said it in a Brit accent like Dick Van Dyke, except she was a girl. So Voldemort was a misunderstood orphan or maybe a dolphin. So Darydina kissed him so he turned nice and said, call me Wally, when Harry called him Voldemort. Then it turned out there was a different reality, and in this reality he was still a jerk, which is a bummer. Come to Hogwarts and learn how to be a wizard, but stop being a jerk and don't steal stuff, said Dum, because Tom, and in this quantum thing, he wasn't Wally, which maybe is why he was bad. Anyway, Tom took stuff from the other kids, and he did stuff to like baseball cards and stuff. And why guys collect those things? They're lame. It sucks. Okay, said Tom. Call me sir, said Dum, who was patriarchal. Okay, sir, said Tom. And the Riddles, that's Walmart's dad and this muggle girl he married, and the rest of the family, including the gerbil named Joe, all died, and they think Walmart Walmart done it because it was obviously magic. Then they went and did other stuff, and they went to another lesson with Slug's memory where Tom asked Slug about Horcruxes. You are cool, Tom, said the other kids, who later turned into Death Eaters and weird golf. Yeah, you rule. And we'll go bad and are a loser, said Slug, but he looked like a really bad edit on a homemade video. What's Horcruxes, said Tom. I ain't saying 'cause they're bad, said Slug, but he looked like a bad edit again. This memory sucks, said Harry. Yeah, he faked it, said Daridina, but he sucks at doing memories. Get the real memory, said Dumb. Why bother? I already know what Horcruxes are, said Daridina. Half my cousins was Horcruxes. I don't care. Get it anyway. It builds character, said Dumbledore. Harry started using spells from the Half-Blood Prince book and lifted people into the air and turned their eyes into cool dark glasses and turned them into bubblegum and stuff. Hermione says, using spells you don't know is unresponsible. You are lame. It's cool, said Harry. Daridina said, ask me first. Then this bitch who wanted Harry gave Ron a love potion on accident, and they took Ron to Slug, and Slug cured him of Lustin after the B-blank, but then gave him wine which poisoned him, and they cured him with a bizarre which is grody to the max, but cures poison. And this proved someone's trying to kill someone. Let's see. Harry didn't get the memory because he wasn't in the mood, and he preferred Quidditch, and Daridina didn't either because she forgot and was too busy teaching Winky to do her hair and nails. So when they visited Dumb again, he was PO'd and got it shirty, but showed them where Voldemort takes stuff from an old woman and killed her. They got sick of trying to get Slug to give them the real memory. He probably knowed memory as a constituent part of identity and didn't want to be identity thefted or something, but he's still lame. So they achewed the Count's book that said what happened, and achew is making stuff come at you. So they didn't need the Felix after all. So it was a useless plot device and lost its narrative function and become a signifier without a signified. But then what doesn't? They saw that Slug really told Voldemort that he ruled and was cool. And Voldemort asked what Horcruxes was, and Slug said it was a soul fragment. You got it by doing murder, which is dumb because the soul gets fragmented by discontinuous narrativity. I mean, duh. So Walmart said killing lots of people would be cool because then you get more soul fragments and be like more immortal. But Slug said that was murder. That was bad because murder sucks. I want to do sex with Ginny, said Harry. Okay, said Daridina. She's Ron's sister, said Harry. So, said Daridina. Ron was kind of dumb anyway. He thought punk rock was cool. That's so old, dude. I bet he's a formalist. And they wanted to see Dumb, and the Count was bugging him about Snape killing him again. You shouldn't have marginalized Snape, even if he is a jerk, said Daridina. Shut up and tell me the memory, said Dumb. they told Dom the memory, but he was still PO'd because they were supposed to get it and put it in the pensieve, which is where you put your memories, so you can see them later. So what? We still know what happens to Harry. I got it that from my book. It doesn't count, said the Count. Whatever. He gave them detention where they had to write a thesis. One day the Count called Derridina to his office. Stop Harry from doing the Sectembra spell. It makes Malfoy bleed and is bad, he said. And stop Snape from killing Dumbledore. Now you ask for help. Lost your ego, old man, said Derridina. Shut up and do what I say, you moron teeny bopper, said the Count. Okay, so I can be a hero, but I'm still jinxing you for being a jerk, said Derridina, and she made the Count lost after Hedwig, so Dumbledore got jealous, was even more PO'd than before. Let's see, how much more is there of this stuff? Oh, let's see. Let's see. How long have I been talking?
I lost track. It feels like a while. There's some really funny lines in there, man. It's like,
Yeah, because this is. Let's see. It looks like there's still a fair bit to go.
I can't. I'm not up for it at all. I've been fasting all day. I need to eat. So,
Fair enough. If he needs to head out, I think that we're good.
all right. I'll see y'all. Thanks for doing this.
All right, cool.
I'll do the next part. The second half of it next time. Then.
Makes sense. Alrighty, so at the moment, the tentative plan for the week is Harry Potter's 5 and 6 watch review stream on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we will be watching the second half of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. After that, I can't remember. There was something that somebody in the stream team would really like to have covered, but I will have to look through the list as of what to cover. So we'll have to end things there. Thank you guys all for coming, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Have a riot.